It's maximum exposure. Tina Porter works at a convenience store. Her day's about to turn unlucky. Two guys mosey on in. One of them asks for a phone, and Tina, being neighborly, lends him hers. Now, the guy acts like he's calling for a tow truck. But then he says he doesn't have enough money for one. He talks to his partner and asks how much money he has. Then he does this. Hey, let's see that again, frame by frame. Watch the side of Tina's head. You can see the bullet goes right through her hair. Wow, that's close. That's lucky. The punks get down to business. They want to get into the safe. She can't open it.
I can't open it. I can't open it. I'll call somebody who can.
They walk away with over $400 from the registers.
I'll give you what I got in here.
In spite of her ordeal, Tina's still polite.
Thank y'all for not killing me. I got 2 babies.
These perps eventually get caught. The shooter gets life for attempted murder. And Tina gets to keep her life. That's really lucky. Green Bay, Wisconsin. We have a developing situation. Officer Michael Crabb is part of a SWAT team that's surrounding a house. An ex-convict is barricaded inside. The SWAT team enters the premises. Officer Crabb plans to use a stun grenade to distract the suspect. He pulls the pin on the grenade. But the convict has broken a gas main, filling the house with explosive gas. The cops run out. They don't want to fire their weapons and possibly blow up the house. Crabb jams the pin back into the grenade and puts it back in his pocket. But the pin doesn't hold. He feels the grenade start to burn. He tries to put the pin back in, but it's too late. He collapses.
I knew I was going to get hurt. I knew it was going to go off. I knew there was nothing I could do about it. There's just about a 1.5-second delay, and just enough time for me to move my head backwards to get out of the direction of the explosion, and it went off.
Check out the flames given off by the blast. Officer Crabb is taken to the hospital, where his leg heals. He gets promoted to detective. He's an extremely lucky dude. As for the suspect, we're thinking he's an extremely unlucky dude. Charlotte, North Carolina. Downed power lines set 2 houses on fire. Mixing water and electricity is a bad idea, so the firemen have to wait for the power in the lines to be turned off before it's safe to fight the fire. They call in line technician Ralph Ray. He has to shut down the thousands of volts that run through this line. He's a 10-year vet of the power company. He knows this line can kill. Ralph's a husband and a father, so he takes no chances. But a freak surge of electricity hits the line. Let's see it again. 7,000 volts zap Ralph's body. He's dazed and confused, but he's alive.
And I felt it all over my body, and it's just like something had a hold to me, and it was shaking me extremely hard. I just remember my life flashing before me from early childhood up to this particular time. I remember saying to myself, I can't die like this.
Ralph knows that he cheated death.
Because I was taught by a man who had told me once that electricity was one of the most mysterious forces in the universe, and I find that to be true.
It's also true that Ralph's an extremely lucky dude. The really extra super lucky dudes. Number 4. In Ursa, Illinois, you'll find 2 things: cows, and an extremely lucky farmer. That old silo's been getting on the Fraser family's nerves for years. It's finally time to take it down. For them, it's a really big deal.
There were a lot of neighbors and relatives and a lot of friends that were there to see this silo come down because it was a historical event.
Diane's husband, Stan, and his farmer homies got ready to yank that sucker down.
They'd knocked out every other brick and ran chains through the bricks that were still there and then hooked those to a cable and hooked that onto the back of the bulldozer, which my husband was driving.
Oh, this thing's built like a brick silo.
They took and pulled at a straight-off angle, and the cable broke.
We have a minor difficulty.
And the silo just kind of sat down and looked like a leaning tower of Pisa.
Is that how they got that done over there? It looks to me like she's leaning a little bit.
That's when my father-in-law got the idea that maybe we should just take, since it was already leaning, take the bulldozer and just give it a nudge at the bottom and then it would go on over.
Logical, but not the best idea. The silo sure goes over backwards, right onto Stan. What's going on there?
Oh my gosh, I got 2 babies and no husband. I just thought he was gone. There was just no hope. All there was a big pile of rubble and a bunch of smoke. And he was gone.
But Stan makes it out alive. Diane's real happy to see him.
After I ran over to my husband, I remembered I'd left my little boy in the car. So I ran back over there real quick and got him, and he looked up at me with those big eyes and says, "Is my daddy dead?" And I could say, "No, Daddy's not dead. Daddy's fine."
I realized what could have happened, when they come running up. There was a tree in the center of the silo, and that's what helped break the fall.
Stan learns his lesson.
I don't take the chances that I used to take.
And if he stops taking chances, Stan will stay a lucky farmer dude. Next on X. He might not look like it now, but this is a really lucky Peruvian dude. Juan Davila has a sharp stone embedded in his skull. He was sharpening this saw when it jammed, and a piece of stone flew up and into his head. He should be dead, but he never even lost consciousness. He even tried to pull the stone out himself.
I attempted to pull it out with my own hands. Then my wife came in and helped me, but it was stuck.
Doctors can't believe that he's alive.
He was conscious. He was talking and understanding perfectly well everything we said.
Surgeons remove the stone. Juan goes back to work. Even after his accident, he doesn't use goggles or a helmet. Juan must be feeling extremely lucky. Down to number 2 on the X list. Los Angeles, California. A tractor trailer tipped over on its side. But it gets worse. To see under the truck, we gotta give it maximum exposure. It's a car with a guy trapped inside. He's buried under 20,000 pounds of boxes and truck.
We got a single male driver in a vehicle that's completely crushed by the second part of a semi-tractor trailer with about 20,000 pounds of plastic bags inside. So they're using a heavy rescue now to see if they can lift it off them.
Heavy rescue tries to lift the semi, but can't. So firefighters have to get rid of the boxes. They work fast. The truck's weight could shift at any moment. They start up the crane again. This time there's progress. The trailer lifts off the car. firefighters can't get the door open, so they bring in the jaws of life.
Watch your shit, bud. Just fall out of here, guys. Be real careful.
Finally, they get him free, and he's able to walk on his own power.
He said he remembers everything, no KO. He's got no pain anywhere. I palpated his chest and everything's intact.
They put him on a stretcher just in case. Heavy rescue pulls the trailer up a little more, and the boxes bury the crushed car. The driver gets out of the hospital the very next day.
No me puse nervioso ni...
I really didn't feel anything. I wasn't nervous. It's like nothing had happened, but I was in the dark. I could move my fingers and toes, so I knew I was okay.
Que muchas gracias, estoy muy agradecido por...
I'm very thankful they got me out because I didn't know if I was going to live.
His car wasn't so lucky, but he is. And number 1 on the Max X list. This is a Max X warning. Nasty stuff ahead. Pray that you can handle it. These two guys are close friends, but they never wanted to be this close. Tiva was driving a motorcycle. Vichy was behind him. They were riding on a highway outside of Bangkok, Thailand. They swerved to miss a car and headed towards a truck on the side of the road. The truck had long metal pipes sticking out of the back. They hit so hard, they were impaled on a 2-inch wide pipe. The doctors in the ER can't believe these guys are still alive and fully conscious. They have to operate immediately, with the guy sitting up and worse, without anesthesia. The surgeons must be careful because the pipe just missed Rantiva's heart. We're not going to show you all the gory details. On a Thai talk show, the doctor who performed the surgery explains how he worked on Vichy.
I numbed the skin here and I cut open here. The metal pipe slid out.
Then on the driver, Rantiva.
I cut him open here to see if there was any serious damage to his internal organs. Luckily, nothing was seriously damaged.
After they were separated, doctors finished the operation on each of the guys. A few weeks later, Rantiva and Vichy are well enough to appear on TV. These guys just missed certain death. Max